Hey, Whiskey Fancies, I'm Chris.
And I'm Kara.
Kara, what do we have today?
We have Bladnoch Samsara.
Oh, I'm Samsara for you.
It is celebrating 200 years of a rebirth of their distillery. So it sounds like they may have went dormant for a while and then reopened. I can double check that, but I think that's what that means. So this is a lowland whiskey. It's matured in California wine casks and bourbon casks.
So when they say California wine casks, does that give them leeway that it can be different?
Or a red blend. You know how sometimes there's a lot of red blends in California?
Okay.
Right, so I think that's that. It is non-chill filtered, and it comes in at 46.7%.
Nice.
Oh, can you talk
like,
about this bottle?
Okay, this bottle is really heavy. If you like working out, this is like your weight right here. Just get another one, you're good to go. And if you have an intruder in your house and you don't have a dog with a stopper right here, it's like a nunchuck.
This is really heavy.
Pow!
I thought at first this was plastic.
It's metal.
It's not.
I wonder if all of their bottles are like that, because that's really cool.
Know.
If you like collect them all,
I'm thinking
you have like
it's
weaponry.
Yeah, but I'm thinking it's special. This is a limited release, and I think it's because it's the celebratory bottle, and also came in this little
Fancy box.
fountain box.
It was a really cool package, and it's not really that fancy of a price to be high. So
we're excited.
The packaging is quite amazing for the price. So I'm kind of wondering and hoping that what's inside matches.
I hope so too. I've been wanting to try the Bladnoch 10. That was on my list, but since we saw this, we just decided to give it a shot. I'm excited. The only other lowland whiskey that I've had is the Auchentoshan.
Yeah.
The 3-wood?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what this is about. I can already smell the beautifulness from here.
It smells very fruity, but I got a very distinct, like funky cheese.
Like a malty.
That could be malty, but there's something that, like a very pungent cheese has.
Funkiness.
Yes. It's ever so slight, but it's there every couple of whiffs. When I first
That's funny because someone told me that they get a weird funky cheese note off of Auchentoshan. That's funny. I wonder if it's a lowland malt note. Maybe they have a little
Vegas art.
Maybe
Vegas art said that on their Auchentoshan.
Yeah, so maybe lowlands kind of have a funkiness to them all. It's possible.
It's not every.
No, it's just every once in a while
you gotta go back and you're like, is there some weird blue cheese note in here?
And every once in a while, it's a little sour.
So the sour note that you get, I get the sour note, but how it's coming to my memory bank is on a single malt. Like a young single malt where it's got a slight sourness to it. That's the sour I smell, but what is your sour smell to you? Because I want to see if I can smell that, like how
it's a
certain
very
memories.
Generic sweet and sour. Like a generic sweet and sour sauce.
Okay.
That from just a bottled jar sauce of sweet and sour.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, not quite as pungent as that.
I could see that.
It's not vinegar, but because it's
I can see because that weird funky cheese note when I get it, that sourness does kind of. It could be like a unique sauce.
Just like sweet and sour sauce. It's weird.
Because sometimes
it's not unpleasant. It's stuff. I like notes of sour to balance sweetness. I don't mind that. So I don't really get cheese.
That's the only thing that I could equate that I don't know, scent would be. It's different. Cheese, right? Like a pungent cheese.
Well, I don't know. I just got figs just now, so I don't know yet.
It has a lot of fruit on there. It really does. Like
it smells like you know what? It
from
smells
the wine.
Okay,
but,
this is really generic. But this is it smells like fruit and cheese
like a platter
board, where you have different cheeses and dried fruits next to honey and a funky cheese.
What kind of parties do you go to that has that? I mean, I must just slum it because I don't see those at the parties I go to.
That's what it smells like.
Unless it's a work function.
That's usually.
I don't identify what even I'm eating.
I don't know what it is. Girl, why don't you give it a taste? I think it's very intriguing. I just realized, although this is celebrating 200 years, I don't believe this is age dated at all. So that'll be interesting. I wonder if it is on the younger side.
Okay. I could see it being young, but I don't know because the casks. What help hide it a little bit, but it's very thin on the mouthfeel.
Unfortunately,
and I get a drying.
Yep.
I'm from the wine cask, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I do too.
But I don't get that I'm drinking something that was solely in wine cask. Like I'm not getting a bitterness from like sometimes a wine cask you can get a little bit of bitterness. It has more of the pleasant fruit notes that's traditionally from a good wine cask, but I'm wondering if also the mix of the ex-bourbon casks helps hide the bitterness that you normally get, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it's in my head, but it's not coming out.
Yeah, no, it doesn't taste super young, but there is a sharp bite right on the mid palate.
Yeah.
Like a really big spike. Maybe that's youth, but this is not... So some of the younger...
A little bit of nuttiness. That from the malt.
Yeah, this is a different malt, because as far as like, if you compare this to, we had Spaysides last week, those were light and bright malty. This feels a little caramely heavier, so maybe it leans more into that bourbon.
I'm not getting caramel at all.
Well, it feels heavier. Do you know what I mean by that? Or it's okay. The flavors taste a little deeper.
Yes.
And darker.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But for me, it's more of the fruits stand out by themselves, and then you get the malt that stands out by itself, and then it goes into this weird ending. But then the finish, it's done. It just abruptly halts, like it stops. You just left with like drying sensation. But I don't know. You're the Scotch person.
No.
I'm just here to drink. You did research. Do you get like a weird saltiness? Is there supposed to be like a salt flavor in Lowlands? Towards the back, and I don't know if it's a sourness that I'm equating to like salt.
Well, that's possible too, though.
I've usually only had like saltiness like on peated stuff.
Oh, really? Which peated?
I forget what it was, but I remember going, "Oh, I have salt." Like
I do too, but I don't remember that.
I think it had peat in it.
Mm-hmm.
You get a saltiness on there? Towards the end, or is that just me thinking that that's salt?
That's a really close description of what that is.
I'm not sure what that is.
This actually reminds me a lot of what my memory of what Auchentoshan 3 is. Like that quality of that something about their malt. It tastes different.
I remember liking
sense?
the Auchentoshan.
But that's also aged in
it's
bourbon barrels and
it has 3 different casks, but hence the name 3 wood. But I remember not enjoying it as much as I hoped I would, because we had just come off a really amazing...
Well, we came off a really amazing...
From our last Scotch that we had drinking recently, to compare it to in our memory bank, was an amazing, but it was higher cask Highland Park.
Do you want to compare this to the Auchentoshan, or...?
That would be intriguing, but I think on a side-by-side, I might like this one better. Just because I feel from my memory, this has more flavor. Even though it's not... It doesn't just blend in and then go. It just goes 1, 2, 3, and then you're out.
Yeah, the Auchentoshan 3 wood's only 43%. This is 46.7. A little bit higher, a little bit thicker, a little bit denser, maybe, or just could be better casks. I don't know if Lowland is my favorite region of Scotch, but it's not bad at all.
It's our second. We don't know.
This is true.
That was our second.
It's true.
So, are we not picking the right Lowlands?
No, I think what's another one on our list? Glenkinchie, I think is a Lowland.
I don't know how to pronounce most of them.
Yeah, I think Glenkinchie is also.
I need to follow by Wikipedia. You know when you Google things to how to pronounce words? I need that for a lot of Scotch.
Well, you can also. Aquavitae has released 2 different videos, and those are fun to watch to help pronounce Scotch. It's Scotch Gaelic, and they're completely different.
The more north you go in Scotland,
it's harder to understand.
What did you say?
Is that a word? This is fascinating. I think it's intriguing.
I
don't know if it's like, it doesn't blow my socks off.
No.
But, because it doesn't blow my socks off because it's not hitting the flavor profiles I normally gravitate to, but I really think it's solid. It's got some great flavors in there, and the
youth is starting to come through.
You can taste it in the mid palate. There's a nice little spike that I equate to youth, but it still has a lot of great flavors that it brings to the party, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's... I think the package presentation.
It's beautiful. Let's pretend it doesn't look like this. Let's see
Yeah.
if I like it. I don't know how
This
much
isn't-
they're supposedly go for.
I think they're like 75 or 76, I think.
And the Akantoshin is...
Somewhere around there? I can't remember.
I think this is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless of how pretty it is, I like the malt better. There's something, I know the Akantoshin, I remember being a little disappointed at how quick the finish was. Like, you think this finish
The only
is
finish this has is just the drying sensation.
right, but
that you get
that
from
one
wine.
was, if I remember, I could be completely wrong, but I thought it ended a little quickly, but it was a solid malt. I know we were like, oh, we really like this, we recommend it, and I was laughing because we were comparing it in our minds to the Highland that we had, and that was like, what, 2 or 3 times the price of it?
Yeah,
and
it wasn't like the last Scotch we had to compare to.
It wasn't a fair comparison.
No.
This, I think, is a better comparison with Akantoshin 3 Wood. I think they're both good. I would have to give the nod to Bladnoch.
This particular one?
This particular one. I'm still intrigued about whatever the other offering. I still want to pick up the 10.
I'm curious to know if they have all of these metal knocker things.
I don't think they do.
Like, this is, without any liquid in here, this is heavy. This is heavy. This has
Glass
to be.
is heavy.
It's straight up like a murder weapon. It should be in Clue. That's crazy.
I get a little more butteriness on the nose when I go back. A little bit of...
I keep getting the funky cheese. Like I'm drinking funky cheese.
I don't get that. I'm glad I don't get that as strong as you do.
I could drink it because cheese and nachos are like my jam. So I'm like,
I don't get that as...
liquid form?
Yeah, I don't get that. I
don't get that there.
I don't get the funky malt that you do.
It's every so often I'm like, oh, it's overpowering. And then it goes away and I was like, it's a magic show. Okay, so it definitely has a lot of fruit.
Yeah.
So it goes into just
that's that red
fruit,
wine.
And then it goes to the malt, and then it goes to the drying sensation that before it gets that drying wine-like finish, there's something that's there.
I think that's that salt spike.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, my brain's like, that's salty. But was it salt? Like, what else is it? It's not used from the malt. What is that?
You know, like the big chunks of salt that are sometimes on chocolates?
Yeah.
Where it's like big
Yeah.
and chunky. I know that's weird, but because table salt sometimes has a metallic taste. This doesn't, but it's a little spike of saltiness. So I could say like the thick chunks of salt.
The unadulterated salt that's
rock
not
salt.
ionized.
Not rock salt on the sidewalk, but like chunks. Yeah, I don't know. I could see that. It's interesting.
Rock salt on the sidewalk?
For people that live in snowy areas that understand what that is. But it's not that.
I was like, did she really say that? Or am I thinking?
No, I said that. It's not that type of salt. It's like salt on like a soft pretzel. I like it a lot, actually.
No, I like it, but I think the presentation of the box was a really solid box. It's not a flimsy box that you fold and break down. It's like solid construction.
I think they're gonna get a lot of people.
And this bottle and this metal thing. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy because we got it at a deeply discounted price. And for me, I was like, yeah, I'll try it. We've been looking for this distillery for a little bit. Not this particular one. I think it was like 10 or something that we were intrigued for, right? Yes. Just to start out. But it's a good starter into the distillery that I'm saying because we started out with it. But
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it.
I'm happy that we have it.
Yeah.
I don't put it in my top 5 whiskey scotches that I'm going to grab.
No.
But
I don't know if I'm going to get another one once this goes down.
But it's not one that I will remove from the bar and give away.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's that line. It's one of those, it's solid. I'm going to keep going back to it. I think it's good.
Well,
it's fascinating.
You can't give it away. This is a weapon.
It is a weapon. And a beautiful decanter once we finish it.
And sometimes I probably should hide it from you in case you get mad at me.
I wouldn't go that far.
You know where the knives are.
I do. So why would I throw whiskey?
So, and I like it. I don't know if I would replace it once it goes down, but it is a bottle I would enjoy drinking.
Yeah, I'm glad that we have this. Yeah. So, have you guys ever had Bladnoch? Or what is your favorite Lowland Scotch? Give us a comment below.
What should we try?
What should we try? Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you can join us in our next video.
Here's to drinkable cheese.
I don't know about you, but I fancy this whiskey.
I fancy it.
Cheers.